All right, here is a much needed update. It's been maybe 3 weeks since I was released from the emergency room following my hospitalization for 5 days. A lot has happened, and it's really tough to kind of keep up with everything and keep videos coming. But let me talk first about the channel. I started uploading videos to YouTube in an effort to start a channel because other people were encouraging me to do that. Very quickly, one of my videos was banned and deleted from YouTube because somehow all the people that, what is it? Like, control the information that you receive, decided that the things that I talked about were, quote, medical misinformation, even though everything I talked about was already on YouTube somewhere else. So my intent at that point was to move over to Rumble, which I'm still doing, and delete everything on YouTube. And before I was able to delete everything on YouTube, I was trying to copy it over to Rumble. The YouTube channel started to take off. So I'm getting subscribers, I'm getting video views, I'm getting a lot of comments, and that's what matters most to me, people's comments. So now I feel like let's just keep the YouTube channel going, and whatever YouTube decides to ban, let them ban it. But definitely follow on Rumble as well, because you're gonna get unedited, uncensored videos there. And then I'm gonna ask that anyone who wishes to receive updates from me in the future, subscribe to one of those channels, because the list of people who want updates from me has just grown beyond what I can keep up with. It's over 50 people already. And I expect it to keep growing. I don't expect it to slow down. In fact, now that the YouTube channel is taking off some, I expect it to grow and grow. Strangers are leaving comments, which is great. I really appreciate them. I love it when people tell me their success stories. So if you have one, please tell me. If you're dealing with cancer in any shape or form, tell your story in the comments. Please leave a comment. If you're just praying for me or anyone who has cancer, leave a comment. All right, so here's some health updates. After I got out of the hospital, I was due to start chemo again in probably 2 days. They didn't do that. We waited an extra week. My blood counts were still low. My hemoglobin and my hematocrit were low. So we waited an extra week for the next round of chemo, which I'm currently done and have made my way through. They did it at 80% instead of 100%, so that helped a little bit. They also gave me fluids during hooking me up for it and after the disconnect. So that will help keep me hydrated. I'm also taking the Imodium, so I don't have diarrhea this time, and I'm able to handle that and keep and retain fluids. And I'm doing a lot better since then. I was a little bit tired on Saturday when they took me off. I slept probably for 3 hours. Sunday was a really long day for me. I was up early. I did a lot. I went out with friends. Nothing too strenuous. I did feel some exhaustion while I was out, but I just took it easy. We went on a short walk and I was able to go. It wasn't strenuous. Usually we do like some kind of hike out in the woods, but that wasn't this. Short walk out into a field, and then checking something out at a local museum. And then I took off because somebody was replying to one of my ads on Facebook Marketplace for some kayaks I was selling. So that sale was able to go through. I was able to take care of that. That was great. Helped me out with some finances. And then I went up to my aunt's for dinner, and it was absolutely wonderful to connect with her again. And we text occasionally, but any in-person time with her is so valuable to me because she's one of the very few family members left that I talk to. A lot of my family is unhealthy, and I've stopped talking to them probably 9 years ago. I did stop in and tell my parents about what I'm going through. And I don't really know how I expect that to go in the future. But that's just kind of how it is for me. I haven't told my kids. I don't know if they know. I haven't told any siblings. I don't know if they know. My parents maybe have told them. I don't know. They'll be watching this video. So I appreciate if you keep things healthy with me. We'll put it that way. Where was I going with that? Right, so my aunt has had some really positive things to say to me. And her company meant a lot. She cooked me dinner, all healthy stuff. A big chicken breast, covered with turmeric and black pepper. Some sweet potatoes, they were so delicious. A couple of bowls of salad, all greens, all healthy. Green peppers, red peppers, cucumbers. She cooked some spinach for me as well with the chicken. Small cherry tomatoes on the chicken and in the salad. And I feel like I'm missing something. But anyway, it was delicious. So the positivity that I got from my aunt was just really incredible. She encouraged me to go up to Vermont, and I'll talk about that later at the end of the video, but I'm doing that. I'm going to follow through with that. All right, so I did a lot better. And then Monday, I think I was tired. Today's Tuesday. Monday, I was tired again, not feeling motivated. Today, I'm feeling pretty motivated. I'm working on the channel on Rumble and on YouTube. I just replied to all the comments on YouTube, or most of them. And I'm really surprised to see the subscriber list growing. I'm really surprised to see that some of the videos that I just put up and intended to delete have 500-600 views. That lets me know that there's people out there who are willing to watch, want this content, maybe need to hear something positive. So I'm going to keep going with that, as I already said. And finally, I haven't dealt with any nausea of any kind. No vomiting, no nausea. I haven't experienced a loss of appetite. I definitely eat my full share of food. Last night I had a box of crackers with like almond crackers with a container of guacamole. I had the whole container of guacamole, so that's good for me. All right, so maybe you've noticed from past videos, or maybe not if you haven't noticed, but I started to lose hair after the first chemo treatment, maybe like 2 weeks after. It was after I got out of the hospital. And I just was like, I don't want to deal with hair falling out. I don't want to deal with hair falling out. So fuck it. I shaved my head and my beard. And that's it. That's all there is to it. I was like, fuck it. I'm not going to be emotionally attached to my hair. I was trying to grow it long again, but if it's just going to fall out, now isn't the time. I've got other shit to worry about. I'm not going to worry about hair. I just don't want to deal with it. So that is what it is. This brings me to the main point of why I wanted to make this particular video. I know people wanted health updates, and that's great. Hopefully I got all that to you. If you don't want to sit and listen to this part, feel free to skip through. But I decided early on that spirituality was going to be one of the ways that I healed myself through this journey. And I didn't know what that meant at the time. I'm still figuring out what it means. But for now, what it means is that, okay, I drive Uber and Lyft for work. And I talk to people all the time. Since I've gotten this diagnosis, and since like literally in the very same day my fiance broke up with me and then told me she cheated on me. Yeah, so I dealt with all of that at the same time. The last couple of months have been pretty rough as far as dealing with that shit goes. But I decided early on that spirituality was going to be one of the ways I dealt with this. And how it's transformed or how it's shaped into what it is right now is I talk to a lot of people. I have conversations with literally hundreds of people. I've had conversations with hundreds of people since this diagnosis. Most of them through Lyft and Uber. But some have been friends as well and family. So anyway, I've been incredibly blessed to have talked to that many people, because talking gets it out of you. And you need to talk through things. It's a form of therapy. You can't deal with this alone. You have to have some kind of support. And even if it's a stranger for 5 or 10 minutes, it helps. Let me tell you, it helps. In this journey of trying to, document my recovery, okay, we got to keep things positive here. There's probably going to be a group formed at some point for support. And that group, when it does exist, I probably create it after this, because everyone's going to be like, what's the link? I'll put it in the description. But that group will be for support. Anybody can join. Whether you want to support other people, whether you need support, whatever. It's helpful. So people are a blessing. They're going to be your best resource. Absolutely, 100%. People are going to be your best resource. Talk to them, share with them, be vulnerable with them, and allow it to be what it is. Allow it to be what you need it to be. So part of the conversations that I have are asking people, like, do you believe in miracles? Have you experienced a miracle yourself? Or do you pray? And I don't ask people what their religion is. I just ask them if they pray. And a lot of people say, yes, I do. And if they do, I say, please pray for me. I need prayers. And some people ask why and other people don't. And when they ask why, I tell them. I'm completely open and honest with them. And a lot of times people will pray with me in the car, or they'll pray for me in the car. A lot of times people say, I'll add you to my prayers, or I'll say a prayer for you tonight before I go to bed. Whatever it is that they offer, I accept it. If I've had people tell me, well, I don't have a God, or I don't pray to a God, but I meditate. Great. Would you please meditate on my healing for, a few minutes, or whatever you see fit? Would you please, spend some time in that headspace doing what you do for me? And I'm not asking for prayers because I think the more people that pray for me, the better my chances are of healing, recovering. That's not my mindset. My mindset is I am a vessel, and I had another conversation with a woman about this, which I'll get into, but I am a vessel through which he will work. All right? And my objective is to get people to pray. Whether they do or they don't, that's entirely up to them. But my objective is to get them to pray. And if they're not, oh well, if they are, great. But, either way, that puts them in the mindset of spirituality, whatever it is. Because this is a spiritual battle. There's a lot that goes into it. I'm not ready to talk about that yet, but there's a lot that goes into this spiritual battle. And there's a lot of things that I see that I need to battle spiritually. But I'll get into that. For now, let's talk about some blessings and miracles that I've experienced and that others have shared with me. And this is, I think, one of the best things to come out of talking to other people, is hearing firsthand they're miracles. I mean, I encounter people every day during work or whatever, and like, you would never know these things unless you talk about it. So talking about this is getting myself in that headspace, and bringing others there as well, and communing with them in this headspace and sharing these things. So first, let me go into a quick story. I had started work one day, and I am drinking only alkaline water right now, and that's because an alkaline environment in the body is inhospitable to cancer. So cancer can't grow in an alkaline environment. So my attempt to change the pH level in my body through alkaline water is for that purpose. Incidentally, I also wanted to say I'm drinking this huge cup of green tea because green tea has anti-cancer properties as well. I gotta get this down before I leave the house today. And I put it in a Vermont cup because I'm going to Vermont for healing, which I'll talk about. But I started work one day, and I had a few alkaline bottles in the car, alkaline water bottles in the car, and I had picked up 4 young Indian men at a college outside of Boston, and I was driving them into Boston. And in the back seat, I have like Poland Springs water bottles, and those are for people to grab. Typically, people don't sit in the front, but because there were 4, one jumped in the front. And when he grabbed an alkaline water bottle, I politely asked him, "Wait, please, like, the alkaline water is for me. Ask your friends to pass you a bottle from the back." And he was curious. He was fine with it, but he was curious, like, "Oh, why are you drinking alkaline water?" And I said, "Well, because I've been diagnosed with cancer, and this is one of the ways I'm trying to fight it." So he immediately like turned the radio off, told his friends to shut up, and started talking to me about what I'm going through. And I showed him my port and started talking about my diagnosis and my journey up until that point. And he listened, and his friends listened. And he had told me before the end of the ride that his father died of cancer in 2019. So he was pretty interested in what I was going through because of that, because of his experience. And I don't know if he texted his friends, but I did see him on his phone. But when they got out of the car, the kids in the back handed me $50, and they said, "We know this isn't much, but this is to help you through your journey." Now, I didn't expect anything like that. And for me to receive a blessing like that, it just hits, you know? It hits. Like, random strangers can care so much. And it really does make a difference. And it's just money, but it's not just money. It's energy, and it's care, you know? It's care that people have. They worked for that money, or their parents did, or somebody did. And for them to be willing to part with that energy and give me that energy, that means a lot to me. Just like when people leave comments on these videos, they're leaving a form of energy. Whether it's, "Hey, I don't know you, but I'm praying for you." Or if it's sharing their experience, they're sharing their energy with me. And, with others who will read the comments, but that's how I look at it. It's an exchange of energy. And that's my purpose in creating a channel designed to talk about these things, is to get this exchange of energy flowing, and help with healing. And I've got a bigger idea for that, which I'm getting to. But a couple more stories from passengers of mine. I had spoken to a man in the car about, "Hey, do you pray? Do you believe in miracles?" That kind of thing. "Oh yeah, absolutely. I pray all the time. I've experienced a miracle myself. Great. Would you mind telling me about it? Yeah, sure. And he goes into detail about how his leg was um, damaged, and how he needed to go through, or his doctors told him how he needed to go through extensive rehabilitation if he were ever to walk again. His leg was in that bad a shape. Then he tells me that he went to Africa, and while he was in Africa, he went to a church and went to see a particular pastor. At the church, the pastor invited him up on stage, and he was in a wheelchair, so he was wheeled up on stage. The pastor asked him, "Do you believe that you can be healed, that God can heal you?" And he said, "Yes, I do." And the pastor prayed over him, and that man stood up and walked off that stage, and has been walking ever since. And when his doctors saw him walking, they were absolutely floored and couldn't understand how it was possible. That was a story shared with me from someone who experienced it. That holds a lot of weight in my book. And the faith that I have that that man was telling me his truth, that's the faith that I need. That's the faith that helps keep me going. When I hear miracles and stories like that, that keeps me going. And it's always touching to hear somebody's story like that. I came to happy tears hearing that, because that's the kind of faith that I need. And that's the kind of faith that I'm developing through this journey. Another story from another passenger was her husband came down with possibly COVID, was sick, and they went to bed that night, and she was woken up in the middle of the night, and God had sent her a message that she needed to pray over her husband. So she spent 2 hours praying over him, until all of a sudden he woke up and all of the symptoms were gone, and he had been cured. And that wasn't the only miracle that she had ever experienced. There were others. But I think the immediacy of that prayer being answered was kind of shocking to me, that things can happen that fast. That was a really good conversation. She talked more about other miracles that she's seen and other health crises that had been in her family that she had worked through prayer. And at the end of the ride, we spent a few minutes praying together, and then she said, I'm going to continue to pray for you and your health. And I thanked her as she left. So I encourage anyone out there who's going through any hard time, to talk to strangers and ask them about prayer and miracles. Put yourself in the headspace of, this is a spiritual journey for you. And I want to wrap up this blessings and miracles section of the video with an update on the miracle that I received and discussed in a prior video of my car loan being radically changed. Just real quick, the details again were, I said I was going through some health issues. They put me through to a care department. The woman was asking me financial questions, but I ended up telling her like everything that I was going through, even though she didn't ask. And here's what she did for me. She cut my payments from like $556 in half to $274 a month, which was amazing. She dropped the interest from 21% to 0%, and that's like $23,000 in interest alone. And then out of the $6,000 that I'd paid in interest already on the loan, she took and applied $4,000 of that $6,000 to the principal and dropped the price left on the loan from $21,000 to $17,000. So that happened. That was very, very touching. That happened the day before I was hospitalized. So it was like extreme high to extreme low, like within 24 hours or less. That seems to be how this journey goes sometimes. Um, but the update is that I got the contract in the mail. It was real. I signed the contract. I returned it. I made my first $274 payment towards the rest of my car. And that's going to be a huge blessing moving forward. That's going to make it a lot easier for me to pay on my car monthly, because I need it for work, obviously. Um, and obviously cutting the interest down is just incredible. It's unheard of. I've told this story almost 100 times, and anyone I tell this to has never heard of anything like that happening with a bank ever. And I really want to give out the name of the bank, but at the same time I want to honor that this is a private agreement. But what I will encourage people to do is, if you need that kind of help, get in touch with your bank and ask them, is there anything that you can do to help me in this time? It never hurts to ask. You don't know what the answer is going to be. I generally didn't ask for that. I was thinking I would get a few more days or a week or two to make my original payment. And then when she started telling me, like, here's what I can do for you, I thought that would be temporary, maybe 6 or 7 months while I get through chemo. And she made it a permanent thing. So again, I would love to credit the bank for this, but I want to honor the fact that this is a private agreement. So I'm not going to say the name, although I would love to. A couple things to wrap up. Some friends of mine are planning a GoFundMe, and at first I was like, no, I don't want that. I can't ask people for help. But the truth is, I can ask people for help. And so I gave them the green light, and they're working on that. Whenever that comes to fruition, I'll share the link, and I'm grateful for anyone who feels in their heart that they would like to contribute to my healing journey. But I am the kind of person that believes in the exchange of energy. It goes both ways, and I want to put some value back out into the world. I'm not just going to ask for donations. I want whoever donates to get something in return. And if there are people out there that are in a position that can't donate, I want to be able to help them too. So I talked about going to Vermont, and I'm going to make you wait to hear that while I chug some more of this. I've got a friend up there, a very dear friend of mine, and he's a healer. And in a past career, I've been a healer as well, so I understand part of what he does, and he's offered to help me and use the techniques that he's learned and has used to help others heal. I'm going to have a conversation with him while I'm up in Vermont. I'm going there for a few days. I'm going to have a conversation with him about taking part in the GoFundMe, and what that looks like to me. I've got to run this by him, but what that looks like to me is, let's help people heal together. Some part of the donations I would like to give to him, because he's also struggling financially. And I'm always trying to create win-win situations for people, right? So if you donate to my GoFundMe, I want to create a win-win for you. Yes, it feels good to give to others in need. I understand that. But either you yourself are in need, or you might know someone who is, and you'll be able to share some healing with them. I want that to go both ways. So my idea is that we set up a website where I can give a portion of the proceeds to him so he can be helped in his time of need. and he in exchange can offer his course or courses, whatever he feels comfortable with, to people, and we'll get sort of a coaching group going for anyone to deal with whatever healing that they need. So that's my idea. I'm not sure how that's going to play out. I think he'll be open to it. He understands the importance of healing. I understand the importance of healing. You watching this understand the importance of healing. If I were to leave this planet tomorrow, if I were to leave this rock tomorrow, I would want my legacy to be that of giving back and helping to heal others. I don't see this, what I'm doing here with these videos, as my purpose. I have another project that I'm working on that I am deeply passionate about. I'm interested in producing mini documentaries or mini docuseries, and I'm working on that. But I'm going to keep up with this as much as I can and do what I can. I can't let it overwhelm me. I don't want it to take over me. But I've got a positive message, and other people have been telling me to put this message out there and get it out there. So again, that's what I was thinking, creating, an equal value exchange or something like that. Again, I got to talk to my friend about it, but I think he'll be on board with it. So I'm going to wrap this video up now. I'm sure there's things I've forgotten. Feel free to ask questions, leave prayers in the comments, tell me your story, share whatever you want. Do follow me on my Rumble channel if you're discovering this on YouTube, because there are things there that I'm not going to be able to talk about on YouTube, which sucks, because there's information out there that people need to hear. I'm not a doctor. Don't take medical advice from me. Always talk to your doctor. But there are things out there that people can do that are beyond what the medical industry tells us there is, and they can heal. There are examples of that. So that's it for this video. Thanks for your time. Thanks for watching. Thank you for your prayers. Thank you for everything, your comments, your care, your thoughts, everything. I do want to say a very special thank you to my friend Kelly, who booked a flight from St. Louis to an airport very nearby, probably 10-15 minutes from me, to come visit me for a few days and spend some time with me. Thank you so much, Kelly. You have no idea what your presence meant to me and means to me. You're incredibly smart. You're doing a lot of the right things in life, and I pray for you. And I know you pray for me too. So thank you for coming out. Thank you for all the information that you've sent me and everything that you're trying to do for me in the background. I know you're working on stuff for me. Thank you. I love you. And I love everyone else watching this as well. So, bye. Oh, one more special thank you. Thank you very much to Anna, who will be doing the branding for this channel and other channels and my social media for this. You've been a great friend to me too. You've been there for me a lot of times when I've needed to be listened to, or emotional support, or just your presence in my life means a lot to me too. And thank you for everything that you do for me. Thank you for everything that you do for me. I love you too. All right, that's it for me. Suicidal for life. And if you don't know what that means, look up Suicidal Tendencies, the band. I am not suicidal. I'm a suicidal fan for life. Suicidal.